Hello and welcome back. Happy New Year. It's been a little while since I've spoken with you. In this video we will be going through overclocking my GPU. Now the same steps that I'm taking here can be used for most GPUs. Luckily, yeah, come along and have a look. MSI Afterburner or EVGA's Precision X1 can be used to overclock GPUs. We'll start with the memory. Run something like Heaven Benchmark in windowed mode, continuously running in the background so that when the limits are being reached you can see any artifacts that will start to show in the picture. I started by increasing the memory clock by 50 megahertz each time, and don't forget to click at the apply button after you've increased it. Once you start to see artifacts appearing in the picture, dial it back and increase by smaller amounts. Keep doing this until you've reached the memory clock limit. You can use the slider on Afterburner, or you can type the amount directly into the field. I noticed the limit when this started appearing. I went back to a limit of plus 1,250 megahertz, giving me a total of 8,250 megahertz on the memory. Remember, not all cards will react the same, so start at 0 and work your way up. After choosing 1,250 as my modifier, I ran some benchmarks in Heaven and superposition, and this is what I found. Next comes the core clock. Set the memory clock modifier back to 0 because we'll increase it independently, just so that they're not interfering with each other. Increase the core clock the same way as the memory, except I use smaller jumps of 25 megahertz instead of 50, as the limit being reached is a lot smaller than the memory clock. Memory clock limits artifacts show up differently to the memory limits. Have a look at this. So I topped out at 140 megahertz, as 150 gave me some problems. Here are the Heaven and superposition benchmark results for the core clock. After that, we combine the results. Sometimes once they are combined, you can have a little instability creep in. I ended up running my final benchmarks on plus 140 megahertz for the core and plus 1,225 megahertz for the memory. Both Heaven and superposition showed an obvious improvement over the separated results. The Heaven benchmark showed around 55% improvement over each individual increase. However, the superposition result almost gave the same as combining each of the individual results. Times by Extreme gave some good results. My GPU score was in the top 100 overall for all CPUs and one RTX 2080 card, and second overall for my CPU. My combined score is 11th for my hardware setup. While testing Rise of the Tomb Raider, I had a few problems with the earlier settings. I had to dial back to 130 megahertz on the core and 1190 megahertz on the memory before it was stable. However, I still got some great performance increases. So I got an increase from 57.52 frames per second in the Tomb Raider benchmark to 73.29. So Far Cry 5 worked fine on the same settings that I used for Times by Extreme, and there wasn't much difference in the average frames per second. It was 95 without the boost and 98 with the boost for the average. The minimum was about the same. The maximum did, however, pick up by about 8 frames per second. So at the high end it worked a bit better, but on average it was pretty much the same. And that's using the built-in benchmark. Okay, thanks for watching. Next time we will be doing some CPU overclocking. Try and get that overall score up there a bit more. Hopefully you've learned something and it was helpful to you, and then you'll see me next time. All right. I can't talk. Like and subscribe. See you next time. Bye. You'll see me. I won't see you. Okay.